Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Generally, we understand generations by the 4 terms: baby boomers, generation X, generation Y and generation Z. Baby boomers are those who were born between 1945 to 1960. Think about the time period of 1945 to 60. This was the time period of the post World War II. World was changing very fast. The power equation, the source of power, the major power was shifted from Europe, was shifting from North Europe to USA. This is the time when many countries were going through a major nation building process. That is the generation which values legacy. They wish to leave legacy. They are the doers and they love to leave legacy. It is very important for them, for their identity. They think in terms of words, because that was the time when most of the official communication used to happen, most of the formal official communication used to happen through words, and particularly the written words. Radio was the most prominent medium, and office memo, the picture of the typical office memo is also given here. That tells about the importance of word, particularly the written words, and their importance in the communication, exchange of the ideas and making decisions was very important. So this generation is the generation of doers, those who love to leave legacy, and they use words and power of conversations, particularly long conversations. They are good at argumentation and long conversations, and that is the major ways of their expressing their thoughts and their opinion. Generation X is followed by baby boomers. By the way, the baby boomer term comes from the major population upsurge happened during this period, during the post World War. The second generation, which is called generation X, they were born between 1960 to 1980. They are the drivers, they are the people who have looked at the growth of the organizations, those who have seen organizations can grow beyond national boundaries. So they are independent, they are entrepreneurial, they are also the generation which have gone through the series of recession because of the cost pressures. They have also seen the major layoffs in the Europe and USA. So there is a sense of insecurity as well in this generation about saving money, about securing financial independence, because they have seen that layoffs and recession in their work experience at a mass level. Re-engineering and the retrenchment at the very large scale became a major feature of the corporate life during this time, during the time generation X entered the workforce. Technology matters a lot for these people, because that is the time when the many technologies which were rudimentary in the previous decade became started getting commercialized, started resulting into different products. So technology and the power of technology became a major source of their confidence. That is one feature of generation X. Generation X are the generation where the televisions became more prominent. So instead of words, pictures became more prominent ways of communication for the generation X. Generation Y are action focused, because they are the generation which have extensively used internet in their day to day work. they are driven by the development, they are driven by the self esteem, they are okay to receive detailed instruction, but they love autonomy, they want to be left alone to complete the task, they value transparency, and this is the generation which has also seen the major financial debacle, subprime crisis, etc. So they are skeptical also about the corporate world, about the corporate life. They are more liberal generation in comparison to their previous generations. Generation Z comprises of the people born after 2000. They have grown up with technology. So you might remember when in the beginning of, since the beginning of the 21st century, if a child cries, many times parents would give them the electronic gadgets, even their cell phones. So they have grown up with the cell phone, they have grown up with the very audio visual electronic communication. They are the generation who have survived on YouTube, they are most active in the Instagram, technology is their soother. So they are dependent on, they search YouTube or Google for any information, they are not very comfortable with the long conversations because they are more habitual of the short videos present in YouTube. So these are the major characteristics of the different generations. This is the most popular generational typology. So there is a more detailed classification of the generation is also available, but we will follow little more kind of 4 or 5 stages of the generations which we are going to discuss. So just to remember, you can use this figure which talks about baby boomer, an exemplar is Bill Gates, the health, wealth, quality of life, these are their drivers, they are most careful about those things. Generation X are the anti of the conventions, traditions, they are busy, cynical, they are the generations which have looked at the organizations growing phenomenally beyond the national boundaries. Generation Y, they have grown up with technology, and Generation Z are the born digital generation. So this is just to remember what we just discussed a short while from. So this is just to have a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous slides. There are some other classification as well. For example, Hewitt has given its classification of the generation in terms of passionate advocates, enthusiastic follower, under rewarded supporters, disenchanted, unrealized potential, detractors. NESCOM has also used a different classification using the terms of freebirds, seekers, stabilizers, loyalists. American theorists have also used other terms other than what we just discussed. So these terms are depression era, World War II era, post war, leading edge boomer, trailing edge boomers, generation Xer, and Gen, etc. So there are different few other classifications of the generation. I would like to share with you Indian classification of the generation. As we discussed, generations are the result of being born at a particular time period and the events which, the major events which would have influenced the people who are born in that time period. So based on the research of Soundarya Rajesh and her colleagues, these 5 generations are identified. They call these veterans, free gens, Gen X, E Gen, and Gen Ys. So they have given the classification up till 1981 to 90, because this was given in the beginning of the 2010 decade, and generation up till this time actually entered at the workplace. Generation Z, which is called millennial in the other classification, did not enter the workplace when this classification was given, but we will see that the classification, the characteristic of Gen Z who are born in 2000, and they are the the most recent entrant in the workplace share quite a few characteristics which we discussed in the previous slide.